Carnival just released their fleet capacity numbers for 2025, and buried in that report is something they didn't highlight in the press release. Passenger satisfaction scores are diverging sharply depending on which ship you're on. Not by a little, by a lot. And the ships at the bottom of that satisfaction gap? Those are the exact ships being heavily promoted through loyalty, booking incentives to VIFP members, trying to level up their status. That's not a coincidence. That's a system. I've spent the last 4 months going through every ship in Carnival's current operating fleet, 27 vessels, cross-referencing dry dock histories, capacity to amenity ratios, passenger feedback patterns, and the fine print of the VIFP loyalty structure. What I found is something the cruise influencer community almost never says plainly. A significant portion of Carnival's most loyal customers are being steered toward inferior products precisely because their loyalty makes them predictable. So here's what this video is. It's a complete ranking of all 27 ships, honest about what each one delivers and what it doesn't, and woven through all of it is a clear explanation of how the loyalty program interacts with your ship choices in ways that cost real people real money. By the end, you'll know exactly which ships are worth booking, which ones to avoid regardless of the points incentive, and whether your current loyalty tier is actually paying you back. Pay attention to what I say around ships 11 and 12. That's where the trap mechanism becomes undeniable. The loyalty program itself, the VIFP Club, which stands for Very Important Fun Person, and yes, that name is doing a lot of heavy lifting, operates on a points per night structure. 1 point for every night you sail, 2 points if you're in a suite. Blue tier is your first cruise. Red starts at 2 points. Gold kicks in at 25. Platinum at 75. Diamond at 200. On the surface, it sounds like a straightforward reward for repeat business. The problem is what the rewards actually are past gold tier, and how the program is structured to keep you booking before you've evaluated whether another line or even another Carnival ship would serve you better. At the platinum level, you're getting priority boarding, a complimentary dinner at the steakhouse, spa discounts, and a dedicated phone line. Genuinely useful. At Diamond, 200 nights sailed, which for many people represents years of vacation budget, and genuine devotion. The incremental benefits over Platinum are modest. A few extra perks, a slightly better phone line, a pin. The emotional reward of the Diamond label is, in many cases, carrying more weight than the practical value. That asymmetry is intentional. It keeps you in the game. Now the ships. Mardi Gras is, without real competition, the best ship in this fleet. It launched in 2021, it introduced LNG fuel technology to North American cruising, and it brought the first roller coaster at sea, Bolt, which sounds gimmicky until you realize the ride itself is a symptom of a broader design philosophy. This ship was built with genuine ambition. The 6 themed zones across its 20 decks create a coherent experience rather than a collection of amenities bolted together. The dining variety is exceptional. Excel-class cabins, especially the aft-facing ones, are among the best accommodations in the mid-market cruise category. If you're holding Platinum or Diamond status and you have the option to book Mardi Gras, there is almost no reason not to. The ship earns the loyalty discount. Carnival Jubilee and Carnival Celebration are Mardi Gras' sister ships, and they're excellent, but they're not identical. Carnival Jubilee, which home ports in Galveston, has a slight edge in overall layout refinement based on what Carnival learned from the Mardi Gras launch. Celebration, sailing from Miami, runs a little more crowded on sea days because of its routing and passenger demographic. Both ships are genuinely worth your time. If you're choosing between the two, and distance isn't a factor, Jubilee edges ahead. This matters specifically to loyalty chasers because both ships attract premium cabin prices, and if your burning points are upgrades, Jubilee tends to deliver slightly more consistent value for that exchange. Carnival Venezia. This one requires an honest conversation because it's become a bit of a marketing darling, and the reality is more nuanced. Venezia came to Carnival's fleet from Costa Cruises in 2023, and it was repositioned as a Mediterranean-inspired experience for the New York market. Here's what that actually means. The ship has beautiful design elements, genuinely distinctive aesthetics compared to the rest of the fleet, and a dining program that leans into its heritage in appealing ways. What it doesn't have is the same volume of featured amenities you'd find on an Excel-class ship. No roller coaster. Fewer thrill ride options. The waterworks area is more limited. For a cruiser who prioritizes atmosphere, cuisine, and aesthetics over activity density, Venezia might actually rank second or third on this entire list. For families with kids who want slides and rope courses and non-stop activity, it belongs further down. Know your travel style before this one. The Vista class is where Carnival's mainstream identity landed before the Excel ships changed the game. Carnival Vista launched in 2016, Carnival Horizon in 2018, and both ships represent a high watermark for a certain kind of Carnival cruise. The Skyride aerial bike coaster, the IMAX theater on Horizon, the robust water park, the well-designed Lido deck. These ships aged well. Capacity sits around 3,900 passengers at double occupancy, which means they don't feel overwhelmed the way some older, smaller ships with retrofitted amenities do. For loyalty members in the Gold to Platinum range, a Vista-class ship on a Caribbean itinerary is almost always a strong choice. The math works. The experience matches expectation. Carnival Panorama serves the Long Beach market, which means it has a dedicated West Coast audience that loves it partly because it's the only modern Carnival ship leaving from California. That regional loyalty inflates its perception a little. It's a Vista-class variant, which means it shares the structural strengths of Horizon and Vista, but a few amenities were adjusted during its design. Still a solid ship. Just be aware that some of its review enthusiasm comes from the, finally, a good Carnival option from the West Coast factor, rather than pure ship quality. The Dream class, Carnival Dream, Carnival Magic, and Carnival Breeze, is interesting because these three ships from 2009 to 2012 introduced features that were genuinely innovative for their time and still hold up partially today. The Lanai, the outdoor promenade deck, was a big deal. The expanded dining options were a genuine step forward. But these ships are now 15 plus years into service, and while Carnival has maintained them, there's a visible generational gap between a Dream-class ship and a Vista or Excel ship that no amount of routine maintenance fully closes. Carnival Breeze has had the most consistent recent upkeep. Magic runs close behind. Dream itself shows the most age. If your loyalty booking is nudging you toward a Dream-class ship because the price point or point incentive looks attractive, go in with calibrated expectations. They're not bad ships. They're just not 2024 ships. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable, and I want you to pay attention. Carnival Sunshine is the most divisive vessel in this entire fleet, and the division isn't random. Sunshine was originally Carnival Destiny, built in 1996, and underwent a $155 million renovation in 2013 that transformed it significantly. The problem is that a renovation, no matter how extensive, can't change a ship's fundamental hull dimensions, public space ratios, or the underlying structural choices made 28 years ago. Sunshine has loyal fans, genuine ones, who love the quirky layout, the unique itineraries it runs, and the intimate atmosphere compared to the megaships. But a meaningful percentage of passengers who book Sunshine expecting a modern experience based on how it's marketed are disappointed. The loyalty trap bites hardest here. VIFP incentives on Sunshine sailings can look extremely attractive because the ship needs to compete for bookings. Don't mistake a generous discount for a generous product. Evaluate the ship independently. Carnival Sunrise and Carnival Radiance represent the second category of major renovation. Ships. Sunrise was formerly Carnival Triumph. Radiance was formerly Carnival Victory. Both received substantial updates. Both suffer from the same fundamental constraint that Sunshine does. The bones are old, and bones matter. Radiance, in my assessment, fared somewhat better in its renovation, and currently runs more consistent passenger satisfaction scores. Sunrise has had more mixed results. If you're offered loyalty perks on either of these ships, they can be perfectly acceptable cruises. Just don't walk on expecting a Vista-class experience in a renovated body. The Conquest class. 6 ships. Carnival Conquest, Carnival Glory, Carnival Valor, Carnival Liberty, Carnival Freedom, and Carnival Splendor. These ships were the backbone of Carnival's growth era in the early 2000s, and several of them are still running itineraries in ways that feel like Carnival quietly hoping you don't look too closely at the departure manifests. Splendor is physically the largest of the six and has the most recent comprehensive updates. It's the strongest of the group. Glory and Conquest are in serviceable shape. Valor, Liberty, and Freedom are where the loyalty math gets genuinely questionable. These ships are running heavily discounted promotions in many windows, which surfaces as attractive loyalty redemption options. You're not getting a good deal on a cheaper cabin. You're getting a cheaper product that's been dressed in familiar branding. The Spirit class, Carnival Spirit, Carnival Pride, Carnival Legend, Carnival Miracle, is smaller, older, and operates mostly on longer itineraries, including Alaska, Hawaii routes, and some Australian markets. This class has a dedicated and, I want to say this respectfully, well-founded fan base. The Spirit ships offer a genuinely different pace than the mega ships. They're quieter. Service ratios are often better. If you like smaller ship cruising and are willing to meet these vessels where they are, built 2001 to 2004, mid-size, focused on itinerary over onboard activity density, they deliver. The mistake is booking a Spirit-class ship expecting a Mardi Gras experience because a points incentive made the price irresistible. Carnival Elation and Carnival Paradise sit at the bottom of this ranking, and I don't say that to be harsh. I say it because it's true, and you deserve to know it before a loyalty incentive lands these ships on your booking page. Both are fantasy-class ships from the late 1990s. Both have received updates, but the platform itself is simply not capable of the experience that defines modern cruising. Elation is technically the newer of the two by a few months. Neither ship offers a water park, a specialty dining experience worth mentioning, or public spaces that compete with anything built in the last 15 years. They are functional cruise ships with devoted niche audiences, people who genuinely prefer the simplicity and the price. If that's you, wonderful. If you're booking one of these, because your diamond status gave you a free cabin, calculate what you're paying in airfare, time, and opportunity cost to reach that ship and sail on it, and compare that to what a slightly different booking would have cost you. That's the loyalty trap in its clearest form. Not that the program lies to you. It doesn't. It's that the program knows you're likely to interpret a loyalty reward as inherently good, and it can direct that reward toward ships, sailings, and cabin categories where Carnival needs demand stimulation. The incentive and your best interest are not always the same direction. Here's what you should actually do. If you're at Platinum and genuinely love Carnival, you've received real value, and the program has likely paid out for you. Stay in the program, be selective, and book XL-class ships when you can. If you're chasing Diamond and you're currently sitting around 130 to 160 points, do the honest math. How many more cruises does Diamond require? What are the specific benefits you'll gain over your current Platinum perks? Could those nights and that budget be spent on experiences, whether that's Norwegian, Celebrity, MSC, or even Royal Caribbean, that would expand your horizons significantly? Diamond isn't a prison sentence, but it shouldn't be a default assumption either. The ranking compressed. XL class at the top. Mardi Gras, Jubilee, Celebration. Then Venezia for the right traveler. Vista class next. Horizon and Vista nearly tied. Panorama just behind. The Dream class in the middle tier. Radiance and Sunrise below that. The Spirit class as a niche recommendation. Conquest class mixed. Splendor and Glory serviceable, the rest with caution. Sunshine as a known quantity with known trade-offs. Elation and Paradise at the bottom for most travelers. 27 ships. Real differences between them, and a loyalty program that works best when you use it intentionally rather than letting it use you. You now have something most Carnival loyalists spend years booking their way toward realizing. A complete, honest picture of what the fleet looks like from the outside, before the brand loyalty kicks in and starts doing your thinking for you. That's genuinely valuable. Not because Carnival is a bad company, they're not, but because any loyalty program's incentive is retention, not satisfaction, and you deserve to know the difference. Drop a comment and tell me which ship you've sailed and whether you think I ranked it fairly. I read everything, and if I've got something wrong, I want to hear your case. And if you want to stay ahead of cruise industry shifts, pricing changes, and fleet developments, the kind of stuff that actually affects your booking decisions, subscribe. New research drops every week. One more thing. I'm going deep on the Royal Caribbean Loyalty Program next, running the same analysis. What I found about the Crown and Anchor Society makes the VIFP comparison look simple.